the end of the first try. This is what a fetus might look like. So if I say, what stage of development is going on here? And by the way, here's the ovaries. They're showing them off to the side, over here and over here. This baby isn't in the lumen. It actually is forming in the wall. So the lumen was somewhere over here and got squished. Now, when the chorionic villi form, they initially are all around here, but then they seem to just predominate near where this fetus first went into the wall. So all of the chorionic villi are strong over here. And the decidua functionalis is over here. It's called the decidua basalis. So this is the decidua basalis meets up with the chorionic villi. This area here, if I point to this is the placenta. So by the end of the first try, the placenta is in place. And the reason why all the chorionic villi are here and not here is because from here, there will be a vein. This is a vein that goes back to the heart. It actually goes to the liver first. So the umbilical vein travels through the umbilical cord, carrying nutrients and oxygen to the baby. The heart is pumping out blood through the umbilical artery, carrying waste products back to the mother. So arteries and veins are reversed in the umbilical cord, similar to the lungs, because oxygen is coming back this way. It's returning to the heart. Anything returning to the heart is a vein. Being pumped away from the heart is an artery. So this here is the umbilical cord. Goes through the umbilicus to the liver. Remember, the liver has all those functions of metabolism. It'll take amino acids, make proteins. Proteins for clotting, proteins for albumin, to maintain osmotic pressure. It'll take glucose, store it as glycogen. It'll take fats and package them as low-density lipoproteins, high-density lipoproteins. So the umbilical cord goes back to the liver. After 9 weeks, it's a fetus. The stage I skipped was here. I jumped to that trophoblastic slide. Well, from the trophoblastic slide. I guess from this, we have the gastrula and the trophoblastic villi. As time goes by, this, that was the amniotic cavity, actually gets larger to host the growing embryo. And we see from these 3 layers, an embryo starts to form looking more tadpoleish. The yolk sac, which was important early on because the first red blood cells and germ cells that go to the gonads come from the yolk sac, and they supply nutrition. Not so important in the male. Most of the nutrition will come through the umbilical cord. So in this picture here, in this model here, I can point to a yolk sac, the amniotic cavity, which has a number there. I think number 3. That's the amnion. And I can see trophoblastic villi. This becomes the decidua basalis. That will become the placenta, covering because the whole embryo burrowed into the lining. You can see this part is hyperemic, has a lot of blood vessels, not so much on the outer side. This is called the decidua capsularis. And there are other parts of the uterus that's just decidua parietalis. It has nothing to do with the embryo. Once a woman is pregnant, that stratum functionalis becomes called the decidua. And it's the decidua basale where the placenta is formed. So this will all smooth out, and this becomes more developed. And from here, the arteries and veins go back this umbilical stalk that will later become the umbilical cord. Somewhere they might have showed us where it looked like something that you might hear in the future. Did they ever ask you on the MCATs, the allantois, or no?
No, they were big in the German years.
So the allantois is over here. That's like where the yolk sac protrudes back. It later becomes this umbilical stalk, which the important thing about the umbilical stalk is that becomes the umbilical cord. So the ones I showed you, I'll leave up here in the front. The ones behind show twins.